Well, that's gonna be a rough one. Welcome to Cinderella Running, my name is Björn and today we will find out if the Saucony Endorphin Trainer is a glass slipper or a foam pumpkin. Let's start with some background story, because the Endorphin Trainer is not entirely new. Yes, the name is new and the foam is new, but the shoe on its own is an updated Kinvara Pro. Some of you maybe remember the shoe, and let's say it in a friendly way, it was not the biggest success from Saucony. Not while it's an overall bad shoe, but mainly because this has nothing to do with Kinvara, and they tried so many things with the shoe that it didn't really work. Later to that more. So they didn't let the Kinvara Pro die, they just added it in the Endorphin lineup. Basically designed as a super trainer, or basically a volume trainer where you can do everything in the shoe. The Kinvara Pro had the problem that it was a very niche shoe, and we will find out if this problem is still consistent. Let's move to the specs directly. This shoe comes officially with 41mm in the heel and 33mm in the forefoot, leading to an 8mm drop. RunRepeat, by the way, a very great site, measured something like 39mm in the heel and 33mm in the forefoot, leading to a 7mm drop. We probably won't notice the difference between 2mm stack height when it comes to such shoes. This is in US 9 and it comes in my pair with 279 grams. Not the heaviest shoe on the market, but it's definitely noticeable on your feet, mainly because of the geometry. So when we talk about the Endorphin Trainer, we do have to talk about the technology in the shoe, because there's quite a lot going on in the shoe. At the bottom we have this big slab of Power One, yes, simple generic Power One and classic EVA foam, nothing special at all. And on top of that we have this layer of the TPE foam. Yes, this is the same foam that is used in the Endorphin Elite 2, the Ingredion foam. This is probably the softest foam on the market. Insanely squishy with a lot of energy return, like I mean a lot of energy return. The thing is, Power One on the bottom is exactly the opposite. This is so firm, energy return not found, basically a word that this foam has never heard, and it's so firm you can hammer nails in the wall with this foam. This is absurdly firm. Nestled in between, there is a quarter-length carbon blade, not a full length, just from this area to the forefoot. Basically a stiffening element and leading to their Saucony Speedwall technology, basically just a pronounced forefoot rocker, so you get smoother through your gait. This shoe needs this plate mainly because this is so much shoe and this Power Run foam on the bottom is so firm you need it to even get forward. This shoe is clunky, and I mean it's really clunky. So what they have done is they increased the density of this Power Run foam, making it even more firm, and it was already absurdly firm in the Kinvara Pro, to increase the durability and to add more stability, and call it a day. So this did not solve the problems the Kinvara Pro had, because the Kinvara Pro is and was a very niche shoe, and they didn't address this issue. They just used a new foam. So also the Endorphin Trainer is a niche shoe. What I mean with that? Well, you kinda guess. Very firm base, super squishy performance, foam in the upper. It's for heavy runners. And I mean for heavy runners almost exclusive. If you are a heavy runner, 85 kilograms and more, you are a really big hairy guy you want in the running, you have a lot of muscle mass, this shoe might be the holy grail for you. Could be. But the thing is, if you are a lighter runner, and I mean like 70 kilograms and lighter, this shoe just does one thing on you. Or wobble, 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 wobble. And nothing else. When it comes to the outsole of the shoe, well, there is no outsole. The midsole is the outsole, and surprisingly this works better than you might think. The biggest concern of the Kinvara Pro was its durability. Some people shred through this outsole like no tomorrow. That's why they densened up this Saucony Endorphin Trainer, making it more durable. And it kind of works. This shoe has almost 100 kilometers in and you see nothing. And I use this shoe on basically anything. Concrete, asphalt, whatever, light trails, no problem at all. So we can combine it with the upper. The upper is in very classic one-piece mesh. It's not the greatest, it's not the worst. It kind of fits to the shoe, but it has one big problem. You see this big layer of this Incredium foam around here. And I have to say, before I go further, that I do sell these shoes and I sell quite a lot of these shoes. And what I have here regularly, not only on my feet, because I have this issue too, if they slip in and they stand in. Many do have the feeling that they get pushed into one side or another. This is because the TPE foam is so insanely soft that if you're not standing correctly in the shoe or do have some, let's say, pronation issues, you get thrown in the one or the other direction, and some people notice that. I solved this in my case to just take it out and slip in new, and usually that solved it. So usually I would just describe the ride at this point, but the Endorphin Trainer is a special case. So we will do more a positive and negative part. I haven't talked too good about the Endorphin Trainer so far, but it has definitely good points. It's a valid shoe. And the most positive thing about this shoe is its stability. I sell these shoes and I am forced, more or less, to sell stability shoes from time to time. And I'm not the biggest fan of stability shoes. If we have appointments, we always sell a shoe with a video. Over hundreds of cells, I can definitely say the Endorphin Trainer is more stable than the Saucony Tempest 2. It's as stable as the Brooks Glycerin 22. It's more stable than the Adrenaline GTS, and it's definitely more stable than the Saucony Hurricane. In some cases, depending on your foot strike, this shoe is even more stable than the Saucony Guide 17 or 18. So when it comes to stability, this is a nice option, especially if you don't go along well with true stability shoes because the system is too much forcing your gait. Great option for that. If you are a heavier runner, go for it. If you search a budget racing shoe and you are like a mid-pack runner, go for it. It definitely has some use case. The energy return of this shoe is insane. If you really hammer your feet down, like you're going to do some intervals in this shoe, for example, or some upper threshold ones, and you land more on the midfoot, forefoot area, this shoe feels almost identical to the Endorphin Elite 2. That's definitely a plus point. But the thing is, this is also a negative point. So let's move to the negative points. And I think the biggest positive point of this shoe is also the biggest negative point, and that's the stability. I have sold the shoe also to friends, no pun intended, and they reported all the same. It works great on even surfaces. Great shoe, nothing to complain. But as soon it goes to uneven surface, or light trails for example, this shoe starts to become really annoying. For example, if the street is bent in this way, the shoe will also push you in this way. You do notice that, and it's a very awkward feeling. And now imagine you're at the end of your long run, your legs start to get tired, and then you have a shoe that is pushing you into a direction that is not natural for your gait. In my case, I do even notice that on my knees, and that's an absolute no-go for any kind of volume trainer, because That's what the shoe is designed for, a performance volume trainer. It's in their Endorphin lineup. Biggest negative point. The next negative point is also the ride. If you are a heel striker, you will not get a lot out of this very great TPE foam. If you go for intervals, if you go for threshold ones, it will also not work very well as soon there's an uneven surface, because then you just have too much shoe that is just making too much movement. The combi of this very soft TPE foam and super firm Power Run EVA foam is not working well. Imagine a bounce board on concrete that is running on concrete. That doesn't make sense. It's not working well. And the other negative point is, I say it's a half negative point, but that's the price. This shoe comes with a whopping 220 euros price tag. Excuse me, 220 euros for a super generic, boring, dull EVA foam just because it has a small layer of Incrediron foam and a carbon plate in it. It does not justify a 220 euros price tag. Saucony, I have no idea what you have smoked, but no. So, and when it comes to 220 euros, we have to start to compare what else is on the market. And there is a very, very, very big elephant in the room, and that's Essex. The Super Blast 2 and the Mega Blast are both far superior choices over the Saucony Endorphin Trainer. If you want to do long run with threshold segments, for example, go for the Super Blast 2, far superior choice. If you want a shoe that does basically everything better, go for the Mega Blast. And I mean really everything better. Maybe not in terms of stability. And then you have a lot of older models on the market who are still widely available. For example, Puma's Mag Max Nitro. This shoe is definitely a far superior choice when it comes to easy running, because it is more stable at those paces. And the durability is probably higher too. And if you really want to go down the low budget segment, you have Li-Ning's Yuying 4 Pro. This shoe is available for around 50, 60, 70 euros, and it's a great long run shoe, or recovery run shoe. You basically imagine it as a Triumph 21 on steroids. That fits kinda well. Yes, that was a rough one. And the thing is, Saucony is actually one of my most favorite running shoe brands, so it's kinda sad for me to see what is happening there. And we pre-ordered in summer already for the next year, so I do know they will just keep doing what they are doing right now. And a friend said it very well. It seems like Saucony throws out as many darts as possible, and one of those darts will hit. And the others, who cares? Just some examples. Next year, the Endorphin S0 will be released, which is basically an Endorphin Speed with no plate on a wider base. This will be their performance trainer. The thing is, it will cost 160 euros with an Power Run PB foam, Power Run PB into everything. And if I compare the shoe already to the Adidas Evo SL, then I'm sorry, I will go for the Adidas Evo SL. There I said it. Then you have the Omni. The Omni seems like the black sheep of the Saucony family, because everything that is not working anymore will call Omni. That will happen to the Tempest 2, for example. Tempest 2 will just get thrown away because it's not really selling well in the European market. And for that will come a new Omni model, because the current Omni model is a complete disaster. This is probably one of the worst shoes for 160 euros on the market. What's going on, Saucony? What are you doing? And they keep their Power Run PB foam. Power Run PB in its beaded foam is a good foam, but it definitely shows its age compared to newer foams. And when you then want a price for 160, 220, 250, 270 for the Endorphin Pro 5, for example, then I'm sorry, Saucony, no. Just no. You can't do this. I mean, you can do this, but then you don't need to wonder why people are not buying anymore. So much to Saucony. So to summarize things up. In my opinion, this is a very niche shoe. If you fit the niche, go for it, especially because the shoe is on sale almost everywhere. That means if you are a hairy runner, if you have some sort of stability issues but you don't want to grab a real stability shoe, understandable why, this is a great option. Or you want a budget marathon racer. Just as an example, in 2025 in the Cambridge Marathon, the women winner did indeed win in the Saucony Endorphon Trainer. So that's doable. But just saying, she also reported to me, yes, on the trail section, the shoe was not very enjoyable to run in. If you don't fit this niche, I say ignore it. Thank you for watching this video till the end. Sadly for me, not a glass slipper, but maybe it's one for you. I hope you got something out of value from this video. If yes, leave a like, subscribe, and I see you in the next one and in the comments below.